So, I'm not sure if Meti is aware of the legendary first video we did about reasons. But he was...
I think I tried to watch it once, and I was...
You tried! Emphasis on... He tried!
It wasn't a good video, because...
It was not a good video, but it was so funny and so bad I felt the need to upload it. The critical error we made in the first video was, the topic was like, should reasons come back? And then we realized that the very specific setup that Nocturne has makes that impossible. It's like asking, should the Septetrions come back? It's like, that's kind of a Devil Survivor 2 thing. So that was the flaw in our logic.
Yeah.
So this time, we've got good old Meti, not the bad guy here.
Who has conversation level 2 and can
He does.
believe anything.
Why don't we start, what are reasons? How's about you explain, Professor Meti?
Okay, so what reasons are in the world of Nocturne is... Oh wait, metaphorically, or what they are, like, just in the general universe?
Just what they are.
Okay, what reasons are is basically a reason for the new world to follow. Basically, it's a philosophical idea that only humans can create because we're the best. No one's ever beaten us. Also, most demons are based on what we thought of, and we created most demons and gods. Even though they may...
Yeah, we're the only ones with the power of observation in the universe.
Yeah, like, I don't even actually remember, doesn't that get brought up in SMT4 Apocalypse? Like,
yes.
Yeah, like, humans can do this thing, and what a reason is the reason that the world should be recreated in what certain image. And that's based on an inner philosophy created by a specific human who's gathered enough Magatsuchi? I always mix up Magatsuchi, Magatama, and then the fucking Maga whatevers. But yeah, people with enough Magatsuchi, and then they climb the tower to talk to the Kagatsuchi. If they can convince the Kagatsuchi, or whoever makes it to the Kagatsuchi first basically gets the world. And so the reason is just what the world should be based off of.
So why do you think reasons are so cool? Because I know you like reasons a lot.
Well, I'm big on philosophy, and I find a lot of philosophy, like, just when people just jerk off specific ideas of philosophy, I always love it. And the reason system is probably the biggest philosophy jerk off I've seen in the entire SMT series.
Oh, definitely.
Because you got fucking all three of the main reason characters all have, like, none of them are technically wrong, and that's what I like about it. I mean, actually, sorry. Hikawa, fuck him. He's better fucking dead than red. I ain't gonna be a communist. But the way his is handled is actually really cool, especially with, like, in the universe of Nocturne setting up to explaining his reason. Because it's kind of the idea of a mixture of true communism and nirvana. And the way they actually set up the scene for his is actually one of my favorites. Because the way you escape into nirvana, into the nothingness, into the outside of the world's constraints, I'm trying to think of the correct terminology, is you must fade the flames of reality, which is like suffering, rebirth, all these other horrible things that you have to go through, just like... And the way that they set up the scene is as he's walking up the stairs, basically, as he's ascending, the fire around him gets greater and greater, and then it's gone right as he gets into the explanation of his reason and how it works and why it's great. And just, I know that isn't really an explanation for why they're so cool, but in the game of Nocturne, their presentation, in my opinion, is like perfection. And the reason reasons are cool is because it's a way for us to get away from the law and chaos, just hard locks. This is the Millennium Kingdom, or this is ultimate freedom. It's more human level ideals, where it's just like...
Well, I do see that. I think that, as we saw with the last video, SMT fans themselves are hard locked into the law and chaos ideals. Even when they're playing something like Persona, which only has, like, one ending, they try to categorize characters into law and chaos because it's the only way things will make sense to them.
Yeah, which is why I'm glad I never got in, like, super early into the SMT fan base. I mean, I got into Persona. I didn't even realize when I got into that it was an SMT game, or it was part of the SMT brand, and I started at 4 Apocalypse. So,
which is so strange to me.
But it got rid of any prerequisites about caring about law or chaos.
Which is hilarious, because, like, SMT4 Apocalypse makes basically a joke out of those two ideologies.
Yeah, and, like, starting from there, I went, wow. And then I went to play, and then I played, I think it was, then I played Rhino. Which also doesn't really care about, there's no alignment in the first Rhino, I believe. There's one in the second one. And
I think it's because you're fucking untainted, dude.
I entered this with a pure heart, pure of mind, and then I played Rhino, and then I played Nocturne, and then I played Strange Journey, and then like going from Nocturne to Strange Journey, man, I fucking feel so like I wonder how things would have been if I started with certain other games. Like if I started with Strange Journey, if I would have liked it.
Yeah, that's always the great mystery is what would my perception of this series be if I started with game?
And even going back to playing games like SMT1 and doing that, it always felt like most of the Law and Chaos stuff is kind of... I like the games without it in it, because I find it becomes more of a nuisance in the older games, because you don't want to get hard locked onto a certain ending because there's no thing telling you what you are, or you don't want to... Because, like, I guess it's supposed to be, like... In SMT1, it doesn't really matter, because I think it's been confirmed neutral's the correct ending.
Yeah, neutral is what leads right into SMT2.
Well, I mean, SMT2 is, like, years in the future. Like, I think it's, like, a couple hundred or something. And because they're like, we don't want to make it directly connected, but we also do. And the millennium... And, like, the 1,000-year kingdom has already started at that point, but... I haven't finished SMT2, but I've been enjoying that. But I'm not sure how I feel about like how heavy that one is on alignment right now, since you start in the Law. But I like that there's one major faction, and then you get to Nocturne, which I think is one of the best, if not the best, SMT games, and I find it to be pure perfection. And then I get to like Devil Survivor, and I love Devil Survivor because there's no Law and Chaos. It's all about human ideals and like how do we change this thing? I mean, there are Law and Chaos ideals there, but like not everyone's works the same. My favorite is I always tend to love the power rules over like sort of the more chaos option. But Hamato Yotsuin. Oh no, I said that wrong. Yamato Hotsuin. His merit system on the surface just feels like the generic chaos system, but like it doesn't directly, unlike Chiaki's reason in Nocturne, the weak can rise up in Yamato's system, and he'll love it. If someone could overpower him and take over, he's perfectly okay with that because they proved that they were stronger than him. Where Chiaki in Nocturne wants to make it so no one can ever rise up, and that's why hers goes to more social Darwinism, where everyone maintains this pattern and only the strong get stronger and the weak just are meant to serve the strong. And I guess I just always liked games where Law and Chaos kind of took a back seat to the more major ideas of writing a game.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why I thought Reasons were so cool going into it. Because I'm like, oh man, are all the games going to be like this?
No.
I was really sad to learn that Reasons never
a lot of the time they just go more strictly into Law and Chaos.
Yeah.
And it's mainly in spin-offs and such that you get like the less concrete ones where people are all like, is this the Law? Is this the Chaos?
Is a catchy Law or Chaos? I can't decide. I know he's the neutral party.
Is Inami Law or Chaos? Because she's turning everyone into fucking...
She's freeing the world via law. Maybe if I don't think about it like that, things could make a lot more sense, because everything can't be strictly one thing or the other. But yeah, that's why...
Again, it's just the ideas of the SMT fan base. They like Law and Chaos as much as Atlas likes Zero when making Persona.
I'm just glad I never got in too early where I got that a bit of elitism in me. But yeah, that's why I think they're super cool, is that they kind of ignore, like, even going in, like, it still doesn't, because when you read the interview with what's his name, Demon Painter was inspired by him.
Kaneko.
Yeah, Kaneko. When you read the interview with Kaneko, he's like, yeah, we took Nocturne and we based it on Chaos and then moved from there within it, where everything's kind of a certain freedom, but there's still like law built into like even like all the aspects of it, because like you have Hakawa's, which is strongly law, but it's all about freeing everyone, so everyone's on an equal playground. So it's law, it's free law.
Fucking nonsense. This fucking nonsense. The SMT fan base does not understand it.
And then you have Nita, or is it Isama?
Isamu.
Isamu. Isamu's is like the weirdest one.
His is my favorite.
It's actually like great, especially like looking into his demonic sponsor, but it's all based on Rene Descartes' idea of I think, therefore I am, meaning that the only thing I can confirm in my reality is that I am alive. Everyone else can be fake and it doesn't matter as long as I know I'm alive. And that's what everyone gets. Everyone gets their own reality that they can create and bend to their will. They basically become their own gods. And it allows you can live out a world where it's just the same world that you were living in, but everyone you know is basically fake. And there's no real, only you know the difference too, which is weird. And it calls into question like, who made what world, and how many worlds does this work? And how did the Kagasuchi even fucking feel about this? You want to destroy this whole world and then make, what was this, 7.5 billion other worlds?
So I don't get it, man, but it's your reason, dude.
All right, well, fuck it, whatever. And that's why I really like that. And also with Noah being like the person who will bring people from one disastered world to their own like paradise, kind of like with Noah and his ark brought all the animals to a paradise from the flood. It takes a great disaster to create the paradise that you want to exist in, and that's why I really like that reason. And that doesn't really fit with much. Like, people say it's the neutral option, but you have full control over all your worlds, meaning that you can have full chaos, full law, full neutrality.
Oh yeah, give me the extra neutral.
I want to have no control. That also plays into the idea of like, if you were in control of your own dreams, like after a while you would dream the dream that you're having right now, like the reality that you're in right now, where you no longer have control over anything because you would have done everything. And so that's what makes that entire concept really interesting. And then you get to the best girl. She's the best. Her is based on social Darwinism and fear of being overtaken, and creating a world where you no longer have to worry about that. And that's why I like Chiaki, because hers is such a human like reason. Like a lot of people will fear about like some new employee taking your spot in a job, or some kid outclassing you in this thing that you're really popular in. It's a big fear that most people have, and with that fear eliminated, you run into like, yeah, it's kind of chaotic, but like, in a sense, there is a balance to the world. This person will always be on top. They'll never not be below this other person. And this person will never not be above that other person. And it's just, there's a law to this chaos. And that's also why the fucking angels love her, because it's like, oh boy, no one can kill God now. No one can rise up against YHVH.
Yeah, that's kind of like the great irony of law, is that it's like order through like a weird form of chaos, because like the whole reason why God can oppress the universe is because he's the strongest. It's not because he's the nicest, sweetest guy.
Yeah,
right?
The angels just fucking love the idea of that no one can become stronger than God ever. That's awesome.
Right, because the whole thing with Kagutsuchi is it's basically just a big law scheme.
Yeah.
Like, Kagutsuchi is an aspect of God, which is why Lucifer wants this whole show shut down.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I love about the non-reasons. I mean, you get to Yuko's reason, which is technically kind of the more neutral reason, but it's also the I didn't care ending.
Lucifer likes this one. He thinks this one's fine.
Yeah, he thinks this one's fine because you just don't do anything. You don't change the world, and you don't fall for the plot of the law, because you just let the world go back to normal, and it will again burn out like all other worlds. And he also he's like, yeah, keep your demon powers as well. You're cool. But the best ending for Nocturne is when you reject everything, even the recycle of the world, and you become a demon.
Yeah.
And you just move through the Amala and basically become eternal. Which is one of the coolest things about that ending, is that I didn't think about it at first, but you know how like all demons exist in every SMT spinoff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Basically, that's kind of what the Demi-Fiend achieved. I mean, he doesn't actually appear in all games, but he has the same presence as demons now, and he can never technically be killed. And that's why I find that to be such a great achievement for him. I also
shame that we don't have like Demi-Fiend just showing up as an encounter all the time.
Oh, I would so love that. I would love that if he was a secret boss in a lot of things, given that he can be anywhere and do anything. The Demi-Fiend is a good boy. I love him. And the interesting thing about that is just like, I love the idea of the conception, the Great Will, creating this explosion around this world and then giving like a few people a chance to change it. There's something about like the ring world that I feel I want them to kind of go back towards, but maybe mix it with something else. Because don't make another Vortex world, because that's just...
the square world.
Maybe like the Tesseract world.
Dude, the Tesseract world.
Just like this fucking fourth dimensional shape, or a decasphere or something.
A dodecahedron.
Like just some massive fucking like because like from the looks of this is getting completely into actually this is getting off topic. I'm about to go talk about SMT5 and how I think they're gonna bring back some form of like reasons in that game, just based off of how it seems like it's the law equivalent to Nocturne so far from the trailers. But yeah, that's why reasons are really fucking cool.
All right, sick. So one of my favorite parts about the whole reason thing, I thought this was the coolest shit when I was playing Nocturne, is kind of the concept of like the demonic sponsor. And this idea that you need to form kind of a contract with a god to get it to work, right?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that demonic sponsor is that demonic sponsor then goes forth to be sort of the, not the Great Will, not YHVH, because he'll always be eternal in all the universes, but sort of like just one step below that, who dictates everything about that world. And that's what makes the demonic sponsor so cool, and that's why them wanting to get in on this shit makes so much sense, because like they themselves couldn't change the world, but using someone else to change the world is great, because they don't technically even have to listen to the reason of the person. The reason is just to get the Kagutsuchi to recreate the world and put them in that place. It's sort of like what Dogda did, where Dogda's just like, hey kid, kill your friends. But imagine if Dogda fused with Nanashi at the end, I guess.
That would have been fucking sick.
Yeah. But
the earrings.
I Boyo, let's do this together.
I don't have any ears, but I'll bite onto the Patari. And like I already mentioned, like what Noah was. Noah's a weird case because it's his first and only entry into the SMT series, and I believe he's supposed to be. He's the nameless god, but I believe he's supposed to be an interpretation of Noah from like biblical myth.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Isamu is the one who gives him the name.
I actually don't remember that.
Because I remember the whole time he was just like the nameless god. I'm pretty sure Isamu's like, yeah, I'll call him Noah.
I, Isamu, will name him Noah. He is now my big whale friend. Yeah, he's like a really dope entity in the SMT series, and I wish he would come back at some point, because he's just like Noah's Ark. He will take you from one shitty universe to a great one. And then you have the fucking the bad. Is it Araman? Is that how it's pronounced?
I think it's Ariman.
Ariman.
Don't quote me on that one.
He's interesting because he's the absolute antithesis. He is just the absolute nothingness of creation. He will make the world nothing, and that's it's just so perfect for like the idea of creating a universe where everyone is equal to the point that no one does anything. The endless nothing until the world starts over. True communism. You see, Hikawa read the Communist Manifesto and went, I can do it.
Oh, this is a great idea. I'm gonna summon fucking Kagutsuchi.
Yeah, I'm gonna solve all humanity's problems.
True communism has never been tried.
Until now.
I love that image of him holding the Communist Manifesto. And like, this god is like some obscure fucker who comes from like Zoroastrian.
He's Zoroastrian.
Yeah, he's just some fucking weird guy. He's been in SMT before, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in If, which will never be finished, and he was in Majin Tensei and Persona 2. What? Damn, that's cool. Man, Nocturne and Persona 2, the best in the series. Just this idea of him, he literally separates from humanity to fuse with the god, which is really neat. I know they all technically fuse. I mean, Isamu kind of just becomes a bubble that Noah eats, but Chiaki and Hikawa both truly fuse with their gods, And I like that a lot, because one is separating himself from reality based on his philosophical beliefs, and the other one is becoming strong as she adopts a demon arm, which is I forgot completely about this, going a little off topic, but kind of on topic because it gets to the Yohinino Himogaru.
What?
The enormously huge small.
What, my penis? What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, the object that Yuko gives Demi-Fiend so he can go to the pyramid.
Oh.
It is called the very basic small object of gigantic size. That is what its name translates to.
Nice.
It is a living oxymoron. When people go to get that object, because Inamu is in the area you need to unlock with that object, and he's just summoning Magatsuchi to himself. Chiaki loses her arm, and I completely forgot that she loses it to the fucking, the mannequin killer. I completely missed that for some reason. And I like that in her attempts to become stronger, she just takes other demons and just consumes them by attaching it to her, building herself up above others by using the weaker. And that also plays into her philosophy, which I love. Every character in the game, I know some people critique the reasons for kind of coming out of nowhere. I think it's a fair criticism, because a lot of Nocturne, there's a lot of cut content from Nocturne, and a lot of the characters just kind of show up and go, I feel like this now. But I always felt like there was something about the three characters that you meet, that they were kind of always not on a sane path at first. You went through this world, and you have these powers, and you have to imagine how these characters go through the world and get trapped and have to deal with this and have to deal with that. And then understanding how they kind of found their ideals. Chiaki just discovers, wow, just using people is the way to get around in this world, because she's probably learned to, converse with demons and use them to get where she needs to go. Isamu learns hiding away is how you get around in this world. And Hikawa read the Communist Manifesto. Yuko just wants everything to go back to normal. She didn't want all this to happen, and that's why she makes a demonic sponsor with a cosmic being from another universe.
As one does.
Yeah. Ardea is the weirdest part of Nocturne, in my opinion, because he just shows up and then kind of does nothing and then goes away. Because she fails to conceive a reason, but you can still use the ideas of her reason. So that's probably that's the weirdest part of Nocturne. That's probably why that ending is considered kind of the worst ending, technically, even though everything goes back to normal, because he didn't do anything really. You just kind of did nothing. I do like that they also point out that demons and beings that are kind of like demons, like the Manikins, can think of reasons and kind of create them, how do you say his name? Futamimi, yeah. Yeah, Futamimi creates a reason. And his reason is basically just the sunshine and rainbows. Everyone is going to be happy. Everyone is equal. But because he isn't a person, he is just full of people juice. It doesn't matter if he made it to the Magatsuchi or if he made it to the Kagetsuchi, because it would have been rejected because he's technically a demon. So that's something that I love, that the mannequins still try. There are demons still trying to climb the tower to try to give a reason, and they'll probably just be shot dead by fucking the Kagetsuchi. I mean, that's what happens
only humans get to speak in this process.
Do you still fight the Kagetsuchi if you do one of the other reasons?
I'm pretty sure you fight him no matter what.
Okay.
Because I got the ending where you revert everything back, and I had to fight that fucker.
I mean, that's still going against reasons. I'm wondering, I don't know if, because I've never done an actual reason ending, because I the first time I played through I did True Demon, and the second time I did the rejection of everything, just to see those two endings, because those are the ones with the actual cutscene. I wonder, I actually don't know if you just get there and then he's like, yo, cool bro, you have a reason, and then it's just the ending. But I assume you still have to fight him.
I'm pretty sure you gotta fight him. He wants you to prove your worth to him, because he's not gonna abide by somebody who sucks, Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I just really like. I keep giving reasons why reasons are cool. And that's the coolness of the demonic sponsors, is that are all based off of the ideas that the characters created along the way. Bale is some badass dude who's just built off of multiple different lores just given to him from different parts of the world.
Bale is one of my favorite mythological figures, mostly because of Devil Survivor and the Bell Wars.
Yeah, and which is why I love that he's the Chiaki one, because he's literally just multiple people giving him just cool feats. He's cool because of this, and he's cool because of this, and he's cool because of this, just building him up, like Chiaki builds herself up from other demon parts. And then Osamu is the guy who hides away from a disaster in order to move on to a different world. He's not running away from his problems, he's just creating a place where his problems don't have to exist. And then Hikawa is just about endless nothing. Fuck everyone and everything. No one is special.
Endless trash!
Endless trash! Hikawa is probably just the weakest of them all, in my opinion, and that's why he's kind of...
I think his is the one that's the least sensible.
Yeah, he's a little... I mean, he's also an insane cult leader.
Right.
So I'm not... I don't hold it against the game for him being the weirdest. He's also always portrayed as the villain. Like, unless you personally agree with communism, which if you do, I'm sorry. You might want to go get yourself checked out. But he's the main villain, basically, who isn't like a divine entity ahead. Where the other two were your friends and still kind of like you. I mean, Chiaki actually, I believe it's hinted at in the CDs, the drama CDs, that you two were either dating or she was going to express her feelings for you before the game started.
Of course it was fucking drama CDs. It's always gonna be a drama CD.
Well, she's technically the heroine.
Yeah.
Which I find that fucked me up when I saw that trailer which showed all the heroines. I'm like, Chiaki, damn, get it in, Demi Fiend, you picked the best girl. And then Isamu is jealous of you. He wants to be as cool as you, but but he's just a loser. And he got hit by Thor really hard. Now he survived a lot. Like, there's some durable fuckers in that game. But yeah, that's the coolness of the demonic sponsors, and creating worlds in the images of your reason was kind of neat as well.
Alright, so now let me talk about why I think reasons are really cool, but from like a gameplay perspective, something about them has never quite set right with me.
Okay.
So this is why I think that alignments as like a system are really cool. Like earlier you mentioned how you don't really like not being able to know which route you're kind of leaning towards until you're already stuck on there.
Yeah.
I actually like that a lot, because I think at the end of the day that makes it so that whatever ending you get, as long as it's like your first playthrough, is that's what you're more naturally inclined towards thinking, right?
Yeah, but with that in mind, there are incidents in games where some of the dialogue options I feel are kind of really poorly laid out. Yeah. One of the best examples is like with Strange Journey. Like, I was never told during Strange Journey that fighting if you fight angels, you know the trial before Ouroboros, where you can do either the 4 devas or the angels.
Yeah.
The 4 devas make it very clear that you're proving themselves to you. But when you fight the angels, if you were to kill multiple stronger and stronger angels, would you think your thing would go up in law?
No.
But it does. That's what Strange Journey does.
Yeah, that's like one of the things I don't like is that like arbitrarily rude actions will lean towards chaos, even though like I think at the beginning of SMT4, one of the very first like alignment options you get is to like, shake. It's somebody's hand. If you do, it gives you law. If you don't, it gives you chaos.
Yeah, it's that's you can shake either Jimenez or Zelene's hand, and if you shake Jimenez's hand, you get law. But if you don't shake it, you get chaos. And if you shake Zelene's hand, you get law. And if you don't, you get chaos. But if you shake Gore's hand, you get neutral. If you just want to be a nice guy, it's just being a nice guy usually just equivalates to being a law character. And I'm like, that doesn't really fit with my views, because I don't want to be an asshole all the time. Because I don't think chaos is all about just being an asshole all the time. I think it's just about being honest.
Like, that's why I like kind of how Devil Survivor handles it, where it's less like dialogue dependent and more like just what you decide to do, you know?
Yeah,
but anyways, what the hell was I saying? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you were talking about liking that you were locked to a certain path.
Yeah, so I think that's cool, because at the end of the day, I think it more represents what you think as a person, and then when you're finally stuck on the route, it's kind of like, oh, I was this, right?
Yeah.
With Nocturne, I'm pretty sure the dialogue choices you make really don't make that big of a difference, do they?
From what I know, as long as it all depends on what you do. I mean, in the base Nocturne, which I don't think anyone really played, unless you bought it like when it first came out. Most people probably played Sure Demon Nocturne.
Yeah.
The endings really just depend on who you talk up and like, and who you accepted at the end. That all doesn't matter if you did all of the Amala.
Yeah.
Which I will say, they kind of hint that if you do all the Amala, you're probably there's no going back. So I don't count that as kind of tricking you into the game. But yeah, I will say that there's a bit of it could have been done better. Absolutely could have been done better. I'm not saying it's perfect.
Like, Nocturne was the first, like, SMT I had played. Like, I played Persona 3, and then I was playing 4 at, like, kind of sort of around the same time. And I had spent a lot of Nocturne kind of confused about, like, which reason am I actually on? Because I wanted to go with Isamu. Like, the way I understood it was you need to either pick Shijima, fucking Yosuga, or Musubi, right? But I was, like, as I'm climbing the tower, I'm confused. Like, which reason am I on? And I get to, like, Noah's room, and I fight him and kill him, and then I have a little freak out, and I'm like, what have I just done? whose fucking reason did I just agree with, right?
Yeah, but I believe isn't there a thing after the boss fight where it's like, hey, did you like my reason? I mean, you're stronger than me, so you have to go and do the thing.
There is, but the problem is that in order to be locked into a reason, you need to, like, you know the parts throughout the game where
they explain their stuff. You have to agree with them.
And then they're like, do heinous thing. That's what locks you into that reason. And I think that's the biggest problem with it at the end of the day, is that, like, you need to really fucking agree with this reason to do the kinds of shit they want you to do.
Yeah, and with the destroyed world as it is, I feel like a lot, like, they're just slowly growing more and more. Sorry. They're slowly growing more and more kind of power hungry. I mean, Osamu not really power hungry. He just kind of grows more and more sad and angry. With, like, Chiaki was the hardest one to kind of get behind because she's just on a slaughter spree of fucking Manikins.
Yeah.
Like, once she gets that arm, she becomes a whole different person. Part of that plays sort of into her reason, but I will agree that the reason system is a little weird. And I would imagine a lot of people either went with Yuka or went with the true demon ending in their first playthrough, or at least a demon ending where the Kagetsuchi leaves in disgust. Yeah, I can absolutely agree. There is a bit of a weirdness to how Nocturne handled their alignment system, but I still feel like the ideas presented within Reasons are some of the coolest in SMT.
Oh,
yeah, they're absolutely really cool.
I think they're too deep for SMT fans.
Which is probably why Nocturne sold so bad. They put Dante in the game and it didn't sell. Yeah, that's just one of the things I just loved about playing through Nocturne my first time. Is just, wow, I really like these characters, and I really like this, and I really like that. Isamu, you're kind of a whiny bitch. But then, like, you understand, I do like that you get more perspective on why they chose this way. And my favorite one was Isamu, because at first, like, kind of understanding where he's coming from, he seems like he's just kind of a whiny crybaby, but then it's just like, no, I'm not upset that I don't want to hang out with anyone. I'm actually just happy being alone. I'm just like, oh god, that hit a lot closer than I thought.
Yeah.
Sorry, Isamu, I don't mean to be mean.
Yeah, like, I think that's why I kind of gravitate towards Isamu's most, because that's the most relatable. Like, fucking Shijima's just this weird, like, law, communism, crazy shit where everybody's neutral but also chaotic. I'm just like, I'm not into that. Dude, a world where nothing ever changes is like,
that's one of the it's like
actually hell.
Yeah, it's so and, like, you won't even realize how much of a hell it is. You only know how much of a hell it is because of where you are. You're basically brainwashed into just nothingness, which it's supposed to be a enlightening experience because it's based on the concepts of Nirvana, and you're supposed to kind of enjoy it, but it sounds absolutely terrifying. And
then you've got, like, Yosuga, which is, like, closer to Chaos, and I think Yosuga's, like, a pretty good second pick, but then it's like, Chiaki's always gonna be on top.
Hey, if you beat her, you're always on top of her.
Yeah, that's true.
There we go. Am I right?
Yeah, dude, high five. But it's like, me being the chaos babby I am, I always prefer the chaos endings where I'm kind of the winner in it, like Devil Survivor or like SMT4. Like, I don't like Strange Journey's chaos ending, because it's like, am I really on top in this fucking situation I've just created? Like, this isn't cool. But
you're on top in the Yosugi ending, or Yosuga ending.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you basically create a new world. You're the strongest. You do the big boy thing, and you punch all the demons. And Chiaki's there with you.
Yeah.
It's obviously the canon ending. Hers just got to me because I relate so strongly with the idea of like being paranoid that you're going to be overtaken in a way, and it comes off as like a lot worse than it is. But I totally get her perspective on the world, because like at one point, your best day had come and gone. That was your last best day, and it's only downhill from there. And it's just thinking about that is terrifying, and not wanting to have to deal with. I wonder how that world would technically be structured. Because then you think about, like, in the more, like, basic idea, does everyone who's the best at one certain thing get their own ranking? And does, like, do they become, like, the fucking 1,000 gods who are, like, this guy's just the best carpenter in the world, and no one will ever surpass him, and he will always be at his peak. And, like, this person...
Everyone has a set power level now.
Fuck Dragon Ball. No one can become stronger. Which also is probably the reason why I like Yamato Hotsuin's idea, because it's this, but everyone can become stronger.
So I think another one of the things that, like, I guess kind of miffs people about reasons is you don't actually get to see what the reason kind of does to the world. You just get a vague explanation from whoever, like, invented, I guess, the reason of, like, yeah, here comes our beautiful world of chaos and strength. And then nothing. Then the credits, right?
Yeah, I can understand where people would be upset about that, but I personally feel that not showing you the thing is technically better, because then it's whatever you imagined it to be.
Now you can't get buyer's remorse over your reason.
You don't show up in the world of strength, and then you just get fucking hit with a baseball bat and die, because it's all about strength and being stronger than the next person. Instead, you could imagine it to be just like a pretty normal world, but everyone is stronger, and you can just go and beat up people if you want. And that's why I like that you can just interpret these any way you want. Like, I guess you could consider, he describes it as like cogs in a giant, like, stable machine. So you can just imagine the world as it is, but working as efficiently as possible. Or you can imagine that it's just people standing in a square in the middle of a field until the world ends. Never getting hungry. Rejecting the world, that's a set thing. Becoming a demon, that's a set thing. What you choose to become isn't a set thing.
That's an inspirational way to end a video.
Damn, Meti, how do you get so good at talking?